and girls, your attention, please.
Hello and welcome back inside the Park for May for podcast number 965. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
A.K.A. Negative Camera. You know why I've asked you here.
You must convince the villagers that I'm harmless.
I really don't think it's asking too much, really, if I'm honest. But tonight, for your kind conversation, yes, it is the TPF F1 News Weekly Roundup. Or rundown, I might say, for the week of November 10th to the 17th. We've done all the work. We've done all the SEMrush. We've done all the SEO, the keywords, the attribute, the taxonomy, the conversions, the micro conversions, the click-through rates. We've done all of that for you so you don't have to. And we're going to tell you what the hottest news topics of this week were, because that's what we do. Before doing that, though, I do have to go to the right coast of our nation, nestled near our nation's capital, and bring in my co-host. You know her, the lovely, the redoubtable Grace, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Todd. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I see you have Kitty in lap, so you're in good stead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Levi, he's like, you abandoned me all day. How dare you?
Right. Where's the treats, woman?
That's right. What are you doing? Don't ever leave me with these other people again. How dare you?
Right.
A delicate flower.
Like I always say, the only thing, preventing my cats from killing me is I have an opposable thumb and I can open the food container. Otherwise, I'd be toast.
Oh, yeah. They ever figure that out, we're done for.
Yep. Agreed. Well, hey, Grace and I have done, Atticus and Huxley put all this together.
That's right.
In our crack research team here at TPF. But we have boiled down this week's hottest news stories just for all of you. And it includes such nuggets like Pirelli's two-stop mandate and the new paint rule and a Mercedes share shuffle, Ferrari bosses telling their stars to shut up, and Cadillac running a Ferrari? What's that all about? So we're going to talk about all of that. So, Grace, let's quibble, shall we? Let's jump into the first news story. This one just popped up on the radar this morning when I got to the news. Now realize I'm -6 GMT, so people over in the UK, they were sitting by the flooded river in York, already reading this on their iPads. But I got it this morning. I got up. So Pirelli mandates a 25 lap maximum per tire set for Qatar over safety issues. Let me give you the bullet points, just the high-level bullet points, Grace. Pirelli, with the FIA and F1, has imposed a 25-lap limit per tire set for the Qatar Grand Prix weekend after analyzing 2024 tire wear data at Losail, the circuit. So laps count cumulatively across all sessions, including safety car versus safety car formation laps to the grid laps, and post-flag laps do not count. All right? It's a 57-lap race, so it's effectively mandated a two-stop. The 19... one-stop or two-stop. Yeah, so it wouldn't impact the sprint because that'd be like 19 laps. And for just a little context out there for those listening, it's a little strict. 2023 was a little stricter. Same issue. And that was an 18-lap cap. And that was enforced after curb-induced micro tears. That sounds strangerous, doesn't it? So, yeah, I know. I just think, so here's what's happening, right? So Pirelli was told, build this tire. And they built the tire as the FIA told them to build it. And then they come to Losail and they're like, oh no, this tire isn't going to work. And so now Pirelli's going to look like, again, they're the ones that can't build tires. Yeah. This is not on them necessarily. They've been told to do this. And here we are again. And they're going to mandate these two-stop, which I hate, of course. I think just do what you want. That's part of the strategery of racing, is that I let you do what you want for 57 laps. And if you win, you win. Cool, right? That's how this works. Don't ram people. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that, as far as how many pit stops you take, that's on you. That's why you have a strategist. Right. But yeah, if you're going to have a safety issue with the tires, again, what choice do they have? Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I was trying to think, and in this format, Grace and I always try to, I like to try to take a pro position and a con position on it and then kind of give a ruling on it. But, for my pro, Grace, okay, I get it. Safety first, right? What? Are you against safety? No.
Safety, everybody loves safety.
Everybody loves safety. So I get it, safety. It removes incentives to stretch the tires past their useful life. I get that. Clearer expectation for the teams and fans going into the weekend, so everybody knows right up front there's no, shady business. It's full transparency. Yeah. Although I will say on the announcement of that, I was looking on social media and Pirelli is just taking it. I mean, they're just getting beat about the head and neck over this thing.
As they should be, but they're just doing what they're told to do. Right.
And so, it's thinking, okay, I'm trying to be positive. That might be some of the pros. The cons, these one-off stint caps, one race out of there, they just undermine, like you were saying, the strategic freedom. They complicate the practice programs. They set this sort of precedent, which I think is what's befuddling most people. It happened in 2023. The characteristic of the circuit.
Didn't change.
It hasn't changed. Whatever you did last year, may have worked. Why a race before this do you just announce that it's capped? And, it kind of gives this precedent that, well, we had no forethought on this. We're just reacting. We're just a reactive rules and regulatory body on this.
They were just looking down, like they flipped the next page in the calendar and went, Guitar's on the calendar again? Oh.
It's kind of like, okay, Brazil, done and dusted. We got Las Vegas. Yeah, okay, Las Vegas, we're going in.
No.
Oh, wow, tickets aren't selling like they used to. Let's sell them for $50 a ticket on Thursday night and get some butts and seats because we don't know what's going on. Oh, hey, what's coming up the weekend? Qatar's coming up quick. We can't do that.
That was on the calendar time?
Yeah.
We can't.
I had no idea, So it's kind of like, I think that's the confusion to come out and say because of safety.
It's been on there,
But it's been on the calendar all year. Why now, right? I also have to think that it hampers qualifying and other strategies that might otherwise lead to a good race. And also, I got to think with the title battle going so late into this season, this could really negatively impact a driver who's in the title hunt. By forcing these two stops, everybody knows everybody's going to stop within 25 laps.
Right.
So I don't know. What did you get a pro and con or just a con?
I mean, this one I'm mostly con. Although if it helps Lando win, then I'm for it. But I really am not for it. I think this is a terrible idea, right? And I'm with you, right? Like you've known since when did the season start? February? You've known for quite some time that this was coming.
Right.
And then it's not, I can understand when you get there and they resurface the track or there's, they did something different, but I don't think that's the case. It's this, we had this problem before, we're having it again. Surprise. I don't
get it either.
And Pirelli's going to eat it. For their brand, it's terrible, and it will continue to be terrible every time.
Yeah, it's like, Pirelli makes crappy tires anyway. No doubt, no wonder, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm with you. I think you've known this is on the track. This is a track that has a characteristic that doesn't really particularly like tires much, and because of that, I'm a little surprised. Let me just give you my TPF ruling on this. Look, all right, we'll accept the cap this time, but fix the root cause, right? Yeah. So mandate a curb profile with edges that don't tear up tires in 2026 so it doesn't become an annual patch to the calendar, you know?
Homologate the track. Right? It's not like the FIA has to accept what is given to them.
Wait a minute. Don't they have to be a grade 1 FIA to host a race?
Right. It's not like you've never been there and you're just like, I don't know where this came from, right?
Right.
You go, and don't you have some sense of this is good, this is bad. Like, I mean, it's just like if you go to the grocery store and you pick up one apple and you pick up another one, you have some sense of like, oh, this is one I like to eat, this one I don't want to eat. Like, you approved this track, you check marked this track. Was this not on your checklist?
I mean, if
MBS,
if Eddie Everywhere is so into the long grass on running the F1 that he can stand in Parc Fermé and individually operate the scale and weigh in the drivers every time they come to weigh in. Couldn't he get his butt over to Losail? It's not that far. It's in the Middle East. Why couldn't he hustle over there real quick and inspect the track and say, ow, that curve is sharp. What the hell was that? Sharp.
But I'm sure just like they have like, the things the rulers, that's not the right word, but right, like to measure the car pieces and stuff like that. Like you have ways of going like, this is too high, this is too low, this isn't going to work, right? Like measure that.
I know.
Figure it out. Like you clearly have this problem, but
you could take a tomato if the curves are like a Ginsu knife. Just take a tomato and rub it on there.
Template is the word I was looking for.
Template,
right.
yes.
I'm sure you have some sort of curb
profile template. Yes.
Yeah, take it, figure it out. And this is going to be a problem, and especially because again, you knew it was a problem before.
Yeah, this didn't catch off guard.
What did you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you already had to get draconian 2 years ago, and do an 18-lap cap, and 2 years later, thinking, well, we kind of thought maybe the curves would wear down by then, but they didn't. I don't know.
Just thought, with the rain, like what's wearing them down?
With the wind, with the sand, we thought it'd sandblast them. I don't know.
Yeah,
clearly
it didn't work.
Yeah, it's just weird. I just don't quite understand the whole timing of this. It's coming down to the wire between Lando and Oscar. Mm-hmm. And a race after this weekend in Vegas, and then we go, and you're just now saying, oh, yeah, we're going to neuter the entire race strategy-wise with a 25-lap mandate. It's just, I remember in 2023, I remember Christian Horner was pretty vocal about, he didn't like that at all, the 18 lap, because it messed with the whole strategy and everything.
Right. What's the point?
Yeah, but don't worry. We got a sprint race that weekend.
Oh, we already had the only sprint race I'm ever usually interested in.
Brazil.
In Brazil.
Yeah, true.
Yes. You just run all the sprint races there. That would be fine. We don't need to run maybe.
I know.
Sometimes we get other ones that come out good, but that, just race small in Brazil. How about this? I know. Why don't we end the season in Brazil? Why don't we start in Australia in March, end it in Brazil in, October, and be done. And we can all go home.
Wasn't that what it used to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we only have 19 races on the calendar.
Started in Australia, ended in Brazil. Everybody was happy.
Yeah, we all just went home.
Everybody packed all their bags and went home for the winter.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, hey, fix the root cause, would you? Just fix it.
Yeah.
So I don't want every year to have to live in limbo until a race before the race and say, yeah, we're just going to put a Band-Aid on that.
Could be a problem.
Yeah, could be a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
All right. What's the other big story? Well, the other big story has to be that the F1 Commission, the FIA, have okayed 55% painted surface rule for 2026, and drivers can change their numbers.
Okay.
But the whole two-stop mandate thing was parked. Meanwhile, they're doing that, in Qatar, but that concept was parked because you got a lot of, and I'm just going to call you what you are. You got a lot of casuals out there saying, well, I don't know, they ought to have two stops for every race and make it more exciting. No, that's not how this works. Listen. If racing needs to be exciting, not made to be exciting. Yes.
If you have to make it exciting, you've missed the point.
It's a great turn of phrase, Grace.
Yes, thank you.
It's like employees should act like owners and owners should act like employees. First, you must master your fear, or fear will become your master.
Very, very
Captain
good.
Conundrum.
Yes, I think that's the point, though, is that it's like, well, if we don't have a mandated 2 pit stops, then the race is boring. As you were just saying, fix the root cause. Don't be making crap up to make it interesting. Fix the problem.
I know. Well, it's why you're hawking $50 tickets on a Thursday night in Vegas. Don't get me on a soapbox. I don't want to go there tonight. Let's see. Here's your bullets for this.
Isn't this podcast just a giant soapbox for the two of us? Isn't that why we're here?
It could be.
Right.
It could be.
Man.
It very well could be.
We know that Dominicali listens, so how else am I going to get my input?
I know Stefano does. I know. I got you, Stefano. I got you, buddy. Carried a lot of water for you, my friend. All right, here's some bullet points on this issue. The F1 Commission agreed a 2026 livery rule, a minimum, Grace, 55% of the car's surface viewed side and above must be painted or stickered. This is intended to curb the bare carbon for weight reasons and improving car recognition. So that's the first one on paint. The commission also agreed to allow driver number changes during careers, no longer locked to their very first pick. All right. Okay. Now, the mandatory 2-stop race concept and tire tweaks were discussed. No change yet, but talks will continue early in 2026. So there you go. All right.
Okay.
Here's my pros, Grace. Better readability helps the casuals and the sponsors. And the grid actually looks like a sport, not a parts bin or a carbon fiber test session.
Okay.
My con for that is that the paint has mass. It's heavy, right? And smaller teams could be penalized. Think of poor Haas out there that doesn't have access to the kinds of technology and paints that Mercedes has, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's got a cost cap, and you can't spend $6,000 a gallon for that paint.
It's Komatsu out there with a paint scraper.
Yeah,
right?
He's out there with a rattle can. Yep. There you go.
That's right.
That's what he's doing. He's doing out there. He's got.
And especially it's going to take him a while because you can only buy like 2 at a time.
I know. And then you got to try to not get to drip, and then when you get done, your whole finger's white because it's sprayed, and then they got red on top of that.
The car looks like a Banksy painting or something, right?
It does totally. Yeah. So it has mass. Small teams could be penalized. Recognition, in my mind, Grace, ultimately, and I think you and I have said this for years, but car recognition, that seems to be more of a graphics UI problem as much as a livery problem,
Okay. I just want to say, at no point in this season have I been watching a race and gone, I don't know what car that is.
Is that a
Last
Jordan?
Week it was very orange, and now it's very not orange. I don't know which car this is. Like nobody has been able to tell that. And then I just want to say, I'm forced to watch the NFL teams where they wear completely different colors than the colors that they are. Like Green Bay always wears who's this blue and red team? Oh, that's Green Bay. Those are completely different colors.
Right.
Not okay. The Steelers are no better. And then you have the Vikings and the Ravens are both purple, and nobody follows the solids, whites, home away teams anymore. Listen, we got it. If I can watch the Vikings and the Ravens play and I can figure out which team is which, we can watch McLaren sometimes have lots of orange and sometimes have a little bit less orange and know that it's McLaren. That was my favorite. They make it sound like it's one of those spy cars, right, that you'd see in auto magazines, with just the black and white squiggles. I don't know what car that is because it's just all black and white squiggles.
I can't pick out the BMW grill on that. It's camouflaged.
I mean, that's also, is that a Porsche? I'm not sure. Those squiggles really throw me off.
Yeah, that camo's throwing me off, man.
I love the spy car camo.
I know. Those were so good in the 90s.
Yeah, I think that, so that to me was the lamest reason that casual fans can't tell the cars from each other. Okay, that's just not true. They have a giant logo on the side, right?
Yeah.
They didn't get rid of that.
I know. And before you get all upset, just realize Williams is going into this weekend for you casuals out there that get all confused and afraid and afraid and scared about car livery recognition, you won't see the Williams. They're going all dark.
Yeah.
The whole car is dark. You're going to be just beside yourself with confusion this weekend.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, like
you're gonna. Wait a minute. Is it a Williams or a Minardi? I can't tell.
I don't know. Red Bull in Japan. I don't know what's going on here.
Right.
That was lame.
Right.
I mean, especially because to me, the only thing I care about is the color of their dot on the driver track map in live timing and scoring.
Now that you can't tell.
I don't care what color your car is on the track. I do not care. I need to be able to look at that track map and know which one of these shades of teal blue is Mercedes. And I feel the same way. So Audi had their like pre-launch, whatever, don't call it a launch thing this week. And they had like a two, half the car was one thing and half the car was the other thing. And they're like, which livery are they going to go with? I don't care. Audi. Yeah. I don't care. It just has to be a different colored dot than everybody else's dot.
I agree.
Because I hate the fact that everything is either red or some version of teal. That does not help me.
I know. It reminds me of the Monty Python. Yellow. Ooh. I was thinking just off yellow, It's like, oh my gosh. Watching that map, you can't really tell. There's the blue car. By the blue car, that must be Max and Yuki. No, it's Williams. Oh,
is it Mercedes? Like, I don't know. And it's just like if you've ever had to paint some part of your house white and you're like, and you go into, the paint store or whatever, and you're like, I need white. And they're like, well, which color white? And it's like this giant, white. Why are there so many whites?
You want eggshell white?
Why are there so many versions too? I don't know.
Do you want lace white?
But that was like, and the sponsor, that's the other thing too. The sponsors pay money. The teams are going to make sure the sponsor logo is where it's supposed to be and as big as it is because somebody paid for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not going to change.
It's more of a graphics UI issue than is.
I don't think this is a problem. I don't think anybody's sitting there going, is that a Ferrari? I don't know.
It got me to thinking too, and I was on a rant about this when we were talking about the cars being released, and I was saying I'm kind of done with the whole matte paint thing. And that's what I liked about the Racing Bulls coming back out shiny, glossy, and they look great. And I don't know. I was just thinking while I was making notes on this story that it's not that they're terrible or anything. I know a lot of people, a lot of good designers and stuff put a lot of time behind it. Just none of the cars really grab you like they used to. And I'm not talking about the old BAR Honda where you have a split livery with, 555 on one side and another cigarette brown on the other. But so I just think everybody could up their game a little bit on the graphics for those cards. Sorry. Here's my ruling on it. Okay. Thumbs up with caveats though. Pair it with paint mass allowance, right? In the weight regs, and bolder on-screen identifiers. I'm thinking if you're having such a darn hard time figuring out if that is a McLaren or Mercedes, okay, well, work on your graphics better, and better yet, Grace, on those sultry night races like this weekend's race, they should do what IMSA and WEC does with the neon number on the side.
Listen,
why not?
If you can watch WEC and keep that straight, then you really do need some sort of graphical user interface. This, I don't know Formula One, but I do like the idea. I think that would be great again at night races. That would be pretty fun. But people, I don't know. I just think that we all managed with really low definition television, and the only way you could tell a car apart was because one had the yellow camera and one had the not yellow camera.
Yeah, right.
And that's what they have now, right? It's like all you have to do is like Lando is the yellow one, Oscar is the not yellow one,
Lewis is the yellow one.
Right, not so hard to keep track of this. Now, this gets into the number issue because it used to be that whoever your number one driver at the team was the one with the yellow. So then it was easier, right? It's like the away jerseys and home jerseys, right? Like, so whoever was your number one driver had the yellow, and whoever wasn't the number one, I think that was it, right?
No, it was the other way around.
The other way around?
Yeah, the number one driver didn't have the yellow,
Yeah, so you could keep track because you knew, and the numbering used to be done by the order you were in the Constructors' Championship, which I also prefer because you know what, that made it easier as well. And so you were like 1, 2, Michael and Rubens, 3, 4, you know, like you just went down that way, and we could keep track of everything because the numbering scheme and the color of the camera holder.
But then we changed all the numbers and let them pick their numbers, and then they were locked in the numbers, and then they couldn't change their numbers, so you're stuck with like 81, right? Then they used to change their helmets all the time and have a lot of fun, a lot of personality. Well, we can't have that anymore. You're not.
There are only like 5 changes or something.
Right,
now,
right.
But I will say that I think that, so what happened in MotoGP, so Pedro Acosta's number, he was 37 when he was in MotoGP and Moto3, or in Moto2 and Moto3. And when he came over to MotoGP, his teammate, Augusto Fernandez, was already using 37. So for a year, he had to be 31. So now he's back to being 37 because now his teammate is Brad Binder, who's 33. So, I mean, I guess that happens. To me, that's the only time I've ever run into this number issue that it was like, I think they should both run 37. That should be fine. It was his number too. But that must happen.
It should be 37A and 37B.
Yeah, or like, a squiggle or like a asterisk or
a different font.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No. He's Times New Roman and he's Verdana.
Yeah, I mean, but that for sure happens in like basketball and football and stuff, I'm sure, where you all are numbers and you have, 30 people on a team or whatever. But I just thought, I was like, I didn't know this was a rule that had to be written out. But yeah, there you go.
Number 32, Pittsburgh Steelers. Grace, who was it?
Lynn Swan? No.
That's a really good guess. Same team, same time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Franco
You're
Harris.
going to tell me I'm going to go.
Franco Harris.
Steve Franco Harris, right? I'm like, I don't know. See, I brought this up before. There's some part of like a man's brain that memorizes these numbers that I've never done.
Yeah.
But I think that it also, given the age, you had to know the numbers. Right? Because
you did.
It was blurry, right? Because it's so low definition that you can't read their jersey name. Like now, you don't need to memorize numbers because I can read the name on the jersey very clearly. We have high definition. But, when we were kids back in the, 80s and 90s, it was all a blur. The only thing you'd see is it's like, I know which one's Larry Bird. I don't know who the rest of these people are unless you memorize the number. Right? So,
right. It wasn't even S-video back then. It was horrible.
It was really bad. So there's a real purpose for it then. Now I don't know why, but guys always are like, oh yeah, that's so and so. I'm like, okay, cool. 33 is Brad Binder. That's the best I got.
All right, fair enough. All right, next.
One last thing. Yeah. You know what solves 2 stories in a row now? You know what solves everything?
What?
Bring back refueling and don't make a mandatory pit stops. Let them do what they want to do.
There you
make
go.
them refuel. That'll make everything more interesting.
Yep. Bring back refueling. Nobody will stop on a full load, or nobody will start a race on a full load. Period.
That's right. So let's bring back refueling. Problem solved.
I'm all for it. I've been saying it ever since they banned it.
Exactly.
I mean, who doesn't love Felipe Massa dragging half the fuel rig down the pit lane in Singapore in 2008?
The fueling error. I love that. That's the phrase that people use. Like, as if like they miscalculated or something, like, fueling error.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what it was. Let's see. The next.
Junior had a driving error and ran into the wall.
It was. It was a driving error. Fuel rig corrected. Fuel rig corrected. That would have been a good race and a possible championship for Felipe Massa. So.
That's great. How many things in my life would be better if they were fuel corrected, right? Whatever that applies to your life, right? Like,
I just love that terminology in Formula One. Well, tire corrected. This would have been,
It's like when you take your best laps, like your best sector and make it one big. I have no concept of words tonight, but you take your best sector 1 across 10 laps and you make your ideal lap, right? Like, if I ran my ideal lap, this would be great.
It'd be awesome.
Fuel corrected, it would be great, but that's not how it is. We got to string these all together.
Right. Strategy corrected. Ferrari would have won.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other big news this week. Well, gotta be that Toto Wolff is in talks to sell a mid-single-digit stake in Mercedes F1 to CrowdStrike's George Kurtz. Our friend. Your friend and mine, George Kurtz. He's a buddy. Here's the bullet points on this. Find this interesting. Total Wolff is in advanced talks to sell 5% of his holding. Now, keep in mind, folks, Mercedes owns 33, Wolff owns 33, and Ineos owns 33. Wolff is talking about selling 5% of his stake. All right?
Right.
So he's doing that at a valuation, and I get this, of $6 billion to George Kurtz. Now, it doesn't work this way, but if you said 5% of Mercedes is worth 6 and then you total it all up, it's like $120 billion valuation for the whole team. And that's not what it is. I think most articles I would see today puts the team 30, 40, 30 or 40 or something. I don't know. Crazy money there. So as I said, Mercedes owns 33, Wolff owns 33. I mean, is anybody feeling sorry for Toto yet? Poor Toto and Susan, put upon by the system. Going to sell 5% for $6 billion. Now the team says everything's wait. Governance of the team is unchanged. That's not a majority ownership. Mm-hmm. This is within Wolff's slice of the pie. It's nothing to do with Ineos and Mercedes. That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of money.
Yes, for a mid-single-digit stake.
Yes, 5%. Yeah.
What a way to say 5%. Like, use 12 words instead of just one.
Right.
Mid-single-digit stake.
Mid-single-digit stake. That's like talking around the issue, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, that's clearly like somebody's headline. Like, just say 5%. I read that like what? Oh, 5%. Mid-single-digit stake.
Greece makes meal out of a shell-enclosed gelatinous embryo.
Yeah, this is like the opposite of what AI will give you, right? Like, instead of saying, AI, could you make this more concise for me? Could you make this more verbose for me?
Right.
I've never tried that. That sounds like fun. I might try that at work.
Ooh, I am going to try that.
Make this more verbose for me.
Yes. Make all your answers verbose. So my pro on that, well, look, hey, strategic capital from an existing tech partner, that's a good deal. It validates the F1 franchise economics. F1, they're running around screaming at the top of their lungs that they couldn't be in better or more rude health, right? Meanwhile, they're hawking $50 tickets on Thursday night in Vegas. But don't let that concern you. Nothing to see. Move on. I'll have more to say about that later. But this supports that $6 billion. No control is ceded in the transaction. So George Kurtz, who is, I'm sure, a sharp young man, knows the reality of being a minority shareholder, which is, you get crammed down on as a minority shareholder, and that's what he'll be. Apparently, he's fine with soaking and steeping $6 billion of his money in there in a minority stake, just to be attached to the juggernaut that is Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 team and the effervescent Total Wolff. My con, extra shareholder can add a lot of friction. Now all of a sudden,
true, right?
Yeah, you all show up at the boardroom. You got Mercedes there. You got the dude at Ineos. You got Toto waltzing in with his new buddy George. And then George, you got to give him some oxygen in the room, right? He's going to have, George didn't build CrowdStrike by not having opinions. And so now he's going to have some opinion on this, as if he's steeped in motorsport lore his entire life.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. Then you got the whole frothy comps raise, raise performance that puts pressure on it. I don't know, and I was thinking, so if I'm George, if I'm Jorge, and I sink 6 big into this thing, and they start sucking air, I'm thinking, okay, at those shareholder meetings, I'm going to be a little vocal about it. I just sank 6 big in here, and you guys are terrible, right? But then I was thinking, that must not be kind of the case, because if that was actually the case, then the private equity group that invested in Alpine would be screaming by now, would they not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's not the case. But there you go. That's my pros and cons. What's yours?
I feel like this story, I agree with you. I thought you laid it out nicely. This is a nice palate cleanser between the previous story and our next story.
It is a nice
I'm
palate
pretty sure
cleanser.
we don't agree. So we're just gonna go with, oh, that's a nice story.
That's nice.
Look at that agreement.
Good
we'll
for,
move on to the next
good
story.
for Toto and Susie.
Yeah, that's right. You get that money. Good luck.
Yeah, that's what I say. My ruling on it's, likely a net positive, especially I got to think for Ineos and Merck, right? In regards to valuation. So let's just say Merck says, or let's say Ineos says, you know what, the heck with this F1 thing, man, it's waning, and I'm going to go back to the Tour de France. I'm gonna go back and get all behind the cycling team and all that. I'm out of here because apparently what I found out is that my shares, my 33%, every 5% is worth 6 big.
Right.
So if there was a time for them to exit, I'm serious. I'd be looking. I think if you, don't get me started, but this momentum doesn't last forever. It starts to wane, and I could see Ineos and others getting out, and you need to do it now while the valuation's at its zenith, and now would be the time to cash in.
It's the secret.
I say that for all my friends, all the men and women at Ineos. Sell.
That's right.
It is contingent, though, Grace, on CrowdStrike not having another global IT outage. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not great.
May want to sort that out, George, before you buy an F1 team.
And you know what? Like, people think like that. They do not.
I know they don't. So, what to watch for in the coming weeks? Well, look for some filings, any sort of confirmation, preseason, I don't know. Whether other teams do minority placements, right? That would be interesting. So, everybody's like, well, you're just ought to buy Haas. Well, maybe Gene doesn't want to sell all of Haas, but he could sell 5%.
You want to have to call Gene? I don't have to call Gene. I call Toto.
I don't have to call Gene.
I don't want to call Gene.
No. So, other teams could find these minority placements. And the other thing I'm intrigued, will we see, is George breaking ice here? Is he the icebreaker? Is he going to set a precedent of sponsor to shareholder ownership becoming a trend? Because if that's the case, I have a friend I'd like to introduce you all to. It's the dude that owns Rich Energy drinks.
Yeah, right. That guy? Yeah.
Remember that guy?
How could you forget that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, as if he's the only, front sponsor that's ever come to Formula One. There's plenty of them. I mean, they could just come out of the woodwork, right?
Yeah, Marlboro was sponsoring half of Formula One. Controlling it.
The tobacco money days.
Yes.
It was a different time.
I miss the tobacco money days. Those were the
We didn't have
best.
all this how many pit stops you have to have.
No.
Nope.
You didn't have dodgy tires that couldn't make a race.
That's right.
No,
That's
didn't
right.
have all this. Didn't have safety. Didn't need it, damn it.
We had safety.
Some.
Like, are you just as if they were just playing football with leather caps or something, right? Like, that's not quite what it was either, but
Football with leather caps. No face masks. Or the one
Exactly.
bar face masks.
Yeah, the little chin strap.
Yeah, right.
It's fine.
All right. Well, this is the story that Grace has been waiting the whole evening to sink her
That's
teeth
right.
into. You guys know this. This is a little long at the tooth. The story came out last week. Everybody's given their hot takes, and all the influencers have been shaming and blaming and all that stuff. But, we gave it some time to steep, and we're going to weigh in on John Elkann and his comments telling his drivers to talk less, focus more on driving. So here's the receipts. He told reporters that the mechanics and engineers were performing their jobs well and had improved the car, but, quote, if we look at the rest, it's not up to scratch. And we definitely have drivers that need to focus on driving and talk less because we still have important races ahead of us, and getting second place in the championship is not impossible. In Bahrain, we won the WEC title. When Ferrari is united, we get the results, end quote. Now, the bullet points on that is this. After Grand Brazil, right, John Elkann publicly made the comment about his drivers, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, talk less and focus more on driving. The context behind that is public criticism followed some on-air frustrations and mixed messaging that came out of that weekend. Ferrari says focus really has to return to execution and get it right now.
And of course, it's only the drivers.
Yes, just the drivers.
As if they're the only ones on the radio that we listen to.
Right.
You're right.
Because they don't have papaya rules, Grace.
Just saying, like, it's the engineers aren't doing a great job in their responses either. And that's been a notorious issue with Ferrari. Like, you can watch whole reels of them, like, saying preposterous things to the drivers,
Oh.
Okay, but you're right. Just the drivers. Cool.
Yes.
It's a shitbox.
You can't say that.
I can't say that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, I told you guys so. I told you so back when it was announced that Lewis is going to Ferrari. He's not talking about Charles Leclerc. I'm sorry. He's not. I hate to tell you, but he's not. He's talking about Lewis because Lewis has been a lot more vocal about the situation than Charles is. Charles, might get frustrated on the radio. So does Lewis. Fair play, the heat of anger. But I said that Lewis going to Ferrari, Lewis is a brand. He's a brand, right? And look, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You watched it at McLaren. You watched it at Mercedes. When things aren't going the way he wants them to go, and in this case in Ferrari, they're not, he unleashes Team LH. He ups the amplitude of his message to put pressure on the team, to make a point, and he's done that. He did that, and Toto had to run cover for it, right, to Mercedes. He's done that at McLaren. It's just he has a massive following, and when he's not happy, he tells his following he's not happy about it, right?
But he's usually pretty deferential to, he says that it's his own. Like, I don't like the way this podcast went, Todd, but you know what? It's the two of us and we're both in this and my half is just as blame as yours. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we both are carrying this here.
Yeah,
he's not just like, Todd, you suck and get out of here. And why do you make me do this podcast?
No. He's not that harsh on it. And I would say he's actually a little kinder, gentler with his commentary about Ferrari than he used to be. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Because there was some real kind of blunt insinuations in the past. And you don't get that here. But the point is that, John and team aren't used to, and I said this would be a collision, and this was the whole, remember when we had a podcast about this, and we talked about, Lewis going to Ferrari, and I said, I'm sure Ferrari and Fred and everybody think it's great because I wouldn't do it. I would never have signed him like that. There's no way. But I understand because they felt like that they were bringing his brand and his followers and all that stuff, and it was all upside. But I said, I just don't see this working. And you can go back and listen to the podcast. I said all this 2 years ago. And it's not, right? And Lewis isn't happy about it, and he is vocal about it. He's not going, oh man, Ferrari sucks, and if this team would get their crap together, he's not doing that. But he is venting, and that's something that Ferrari is not used to.
I think Leclerc does vent too. You don't see that?
Who?
Leclerc. their other driver.
Oh.
I think he also says,
Are you talking about on the radio?
That this was a problem.
Yeah, on the radio he
races,
does. Yeah, on the radio he does. And so does Lewis, and that I think that's normal. I'm talking outside of the actual race.
But I think outside they're both pretty differential to the hey, we're just going to put our nose down and keep doing this. I don't think that Lewis is. Now, does Lewis have? I think where maybe I'm just parsing your text is that you make it sound like Lewis says, "Oh, guys, it's both of us," and then he turns around and he says, "Okay, Team LH, what I really meant was this." The amplification happens without Lewis saying it.
It
the
does.
way you phrase it makes it sound like Lewis said, "Hey, my boys, guess what we're going to do? And you're going to now do this."
No. It's not what I'm implying at all.
Lewis Hamilton is a big deal. And so when Lewis sneezes, Team LH is on it.
That's
and
what
you
I'm
brought a
saying.
lot of fans into the sport just for Lewis Hamilton.
That's what I'm saying. So
the way you phrase it makes it sound
No,
like Lewis
no.
Hamilton's playing games here.
No. I'm saying that when things aren't going the way he would like them to go, he talks about it. All right?
Yes.
And because of his brand, which is massive, it doesn't take much. It's not like he's got to go out and coach people what to say or like you said, hey, what I really mean is Ferrari sucks. He didn't have to say any of that, and he knows that. All he's got to say is just, I just wish we could get on top of this and something relatively benign. But Team LH, man, they will take that and run a mile with it, right?
Jenson Button is a member of Team LH.
He's not.
So I'm just saying, I don't think that it's just Team LH people that came out and said, "Yo,
No, it's not.
Bring it down a notch."
No, and I would say, and I agree with JB on this. I totally agree with JB. I'm not giving Elkin a free pass, for crying out loud. I always say he looks like a fraternity brother who happened to got a pit pass, in there,
Well,
not the head of Ferrari, but.
And the thing is that, we have all these pictures of the two of them being buddies at the beginning of the season, and now you're not buddies anymore.
Right. No. I'm not saying that Lewis is dog whistling and he's being negative and really harsh with Ferrari. He's not happy with things, and that's obvious. And
because Ferrari isn't making him happy, right? Like, again, it's
no
not
doubt.
Like Ferrari's
no doubt.
doing a great job, right?
No doubt.
They're not.
But they haven't been doing a great job the entire career of Charles Leclerc at Ferrari, and you haven't seen this kind of talk.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
I think
you haven't seen the negativity. Wait a minute. Charles hasn't been winning championships ever since he got there. All right, but I haven't seen the level of negativity about it that I've seen since Lewis came to Ferrari.
But he always turns it on himself. Lewis, well, I just don't think, I think Charles he doesn't make nearly the number of mistakes he used to make when he first started, right? I think Charles Leclerc has improved as a driver, even in the course of time at Ferrari. I just don't think it's just like, if you listen to what Charles says and you listen to what Lewis says, that it's like so vastly different.
Yeah. No, Charles gets frustrated on the radio, and so does Lewis, and I expect that because it's the heat of battle, right? I think it's the other stuff, the post-race commentary and stuff like that, that gets the fur up.
So you just want Lewis to just always say, "I don't know, this isn't the day I wanted to have today." And walk
No, I don't
away?
want any of that. I want Lewis to be Lewis. I'm just saying that Lewis, because of who he is and his brand, when he comes out and says, that he's not happy, or even his self-deprecating comments, his fan base is so ardent that they move up and down with his emotion and how he feels about it. Even when he's self-deprecating, they get mad because Ferrari isn't giving him a car, and now the poor guy's blaming himself, right? Well,
I can't help it that they're not familiar with Ferrari either, and that this is pretty consistent.
It is consistent.
You had Sebastian Vettel, you had Fernando Alonso,
Charles Leclerc.
This is pretty consistent, like Ferrari here, right?
It is. So when Lewis says it, the amplitude of the pushback is so much greater because Lewis's brand is so much larger than Charles or Fernando or whatever it might be. I mean, he's got millions upon millions of followers, right? And so that's the issue. And I think I talked about it a couple years ago that when you bring Lewis and you feel like, hey, that's great because we're bringing Lewis and his brand and we can really, tie that with Ferrari and everything. And I was saying, if it doesn't go well, that brand works against you. And in this case, it kind of is. Ferrari's taking a lot of incoming. Not justifying, I'm saying Ferrari deserves it because they haven't been winning races consistently or titles in a long time. So not saying anything untoward. I'm just saying that the reaction and the thing that John is talking about is Lewis, because the huge pushback is coming from Team LH and Lewis's camp. But I'm like JB, and my feelings on this is that, in one side you can say airing standards can maybe, reset this drifting culture they have going on between them. Maybe that would help. Maybe it's a course correction coming from the CEO. Less PR theater and just get back to performance. Maybe that helps. But I also think in the case of Lewis, public rebukes risk a morale and media spiral, which is what's happening, because of Lewis and who he is. So I'm like JB, set the bar privately, right? Not via headlines. And to say that out publicly, JB said, well, maybe, he should start by leading, and I agree with him. I think it was a uncalled for comment from him, in my opinion. But
I think what I see. So when I think of Ferrari, so of course when this came out, and because to me this is what I refer to as Ferrari Mad Libs. This literally could have been anybody in Ferrari management that said this, right? Like, just fill in the blanks. Like, this could have been, close your eyes, who said this? Luca Di Montezemolo, right? It's Ferrari Mad Libs, right? It's who we're going to blame. And some part of Ferrari operates the same way the Dallas Cowboys do. And so they just say things because they know they're America's team and it's going to get carried on ESPN. And every time, Stephen A. Smith says, oh, the Cowboys, dollar signs show up, right? So there's this, like, statement culture that happens, like, with Ferrari the same way it does with Dallas Cowboys. But to your point, it doesn't work with Lewis being there.
It doesn't.
Right? That game doesn't play now all of a sudden because you now have somebody that's bigger than you, Ferrari. And so your Dallas Cowboy Jerry Rice bit here isn't going to work. And you just didn't think that was possible. Like, Elkan didn't see that. He clearly didn't listen to our podcast to see that this was what was going to happen. And now he's like, oh, now I look like the dum-dum because everybody's coming out because all we have are these buddy photos of the two of us at the beginning of the season. And now I just look like a dumbhead for saying these things. Yeah. And especially when Fred back in June said, his whole thing was like, well, let's see, we've changed the drivers and we've changed the team principal. And boy, we've changed everybody. And who's left?
Strange. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I have two of you. This is great. One of you.
There's two of me?
One of you frozen, and this one, this window of you talking.
Hey, I jumped back in, folks. I have no idea what happened there, but I'm back. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're hopefully fixed.
Okay.
So, yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so Fred basically said this, like, last June or July, that, like, you aren't asking the right questions, right? Let's see. Ferrari hasn't won in years. We changed the team principal. We changed the drivers. Everything here's changed except for what hasn't changed, right? Like, so.
Yeah.
I just think that this is like classic Ferrari and maybe just didn't work out for Ferrari the way they thought it was going to with their usual, like, toys out of the pram thing, right? And everybody was like, no, this is your fault. And they're just not, they weren't prepared for the toys to get thrown back at them. No. Although I would argue that Lewis is not bigger than Ferrari. I would argue that. Well, I don't know. Cut a hole in the side of the chassis so God can see your engine and we'll just move on, right? Yeah. Hey, here's the reason we had that blip in recording, if you can see the radar. Whoa, look at that. Yeah, so that's what's going on here. Is that tornadic activity or just a heavy rainstorm? Heavy rain, yeah. Okay. So there you go. Sorry about the blip, folks. But it's hopefully we're still recording. We'll fix it in post. What Grace means is I'll fix it in post. There's no post fixing. That's what I mean. Like, it'll just be, 5, 6. The show was great until that midpoint where Grace was mid-rant and then started dancing. I don't know what happened. It just has this gap where nobody was saying anything. I don't know what happened. But they just left it in. They didn't even edit it out. No, we ain't doing that. So I just think that Ferrari, to paraphrase one Christian Horner, fix your damn team. Right? Yeah, I agree. Get it together. I agree. Your team lift and coast. You're not doing great. Yeah. I get it. Lewis is not happy, and it comes across. He shouldn't be happy. And his fan base is giving you hell, and I get all that. But the problem isn't Lewis, all right? And if you're trying to up that whole we're one team, we need to quit complaining and get back to execution and blah 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 blah. So this is what Dear John Elkann, I know you don't listen to this podcast because if you did, you probably would have stopped a long time ago. But if somebody's there, so they just did a Beyond the Grid with Zach and Adrian Stella. Watch that. That's how you do a one team. That's how you do we're together. I get this whole papaya rules. People are stuck on that, and they never should have called it that, and we should move past that by now. But if you want to see how a team works as one team, call your man Zach Brown.
That's right. And
this is not how you do it.
It's a good way to sell Zach's new book, too.
It's true.
So there you go.
There you
All
go.
Right. Next big story, and the final one we're going to cover is Cadillac runs an F1 test at Imola, believe it or not, and Sergio, one Checo, was in the seat of a 2023 Ferrari.
Nice.
So here's the receipts. Sports Business Journal, as well as others, multiple reports, says that, I'm reading a different headline. Why did I have that in there? It wasn't Sports Business Journal. I think it was Autosport.
Autosport.
So he was out at Imola, Sergio was, and he tested for Cadillac at Imola, but what he was driving was a 2023 Ferrari chassis, right? Now, for you out there that may not be aware of this, which I don't know who that would be, but if you're not, that Cadillac debuts in 2026 using a Ferrari powertrain.
And no Michael Andretti. That's right.
And no Michael Andretti, correct, from Fisher, Indiana. The objective here was to validate procedures. Now get this, validate procedures, integrate engineers, and align the sim before their entry.
Yeah.
Right? So although no official lap times were released, sources indicated the best lap was in the 116s, which is faster than the 117 reported on social media that I saw. It was conducted on November 13th, 14th, was part of Cadillac's preparations for its 2026 F1 debut, with Checo and the team focusing on reestablishing race protocols and building team chemistry and camaraderie.
Look at that.
Camaraderie. Yes. Right. So, hey, look, it's process, right?
Yeah,
at this point. And it's greater than purism at this point. Yeah. So using a known mule accelerates the ops learning curve, Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're going to go out there, and think it's going to break down 300 feet out of the pit. It's a known mule. It's run a lot of laps. And, it's reliable, and they're going to run it. And that lets the whole operation side kind of get this cadence going.
Because you can't get that in a sim.
No, you can't.
Right? So you kind of need something to give, seat time is seat time. So you need to give a way to give them seat time because there isn't another way to pretend do this without being in a race. So that's what they're doing.
No, I agree, Grace. I think, that whole procedure and process thing, aligning their sim to make sure that it's what they programmed it to be, right?
Yeah.
So I could see that it's definitely a process over purism at this point. I really didn't have a lot of cons other than the transferability. It's a completely different car than what theirs is, and I don't know how much transferable information is usable or not. And I think the branding oddity invited a lot of eye rolls. People were like, "Cadillac's doing what? Driving a Ferrari? What's going on there?" So I think that was odd. But other than that, I think it's worth the optics if it sharpens the race ops before 2026. Yeah. So good on Cadillac and good on Checo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I like seeing that.
I agree. Yeah, who doesn't like seeing a little Checo behind the wheel? I'm all for it.
Horner.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know.
I know. All right. Are you ready for some Albin's Cats?
I am.
We always do Albin's Cats. This is where Grace and I talk about nonsense like orbital to Formula One, but not really Formula One. And it confuses most of the listeners, but we do it anyway.
That's Formula One adjacent.
It is adjacent.
It's good. I try to bring in some connections for y'all, right?
You do?
Try not to make it totally random.
It's not like we're talking about MotoGP all the time and there's no connection. You've got the Steiner over there.
That's right. He was in Valencia, speaking of which. So we did have the last race of MotoGP this weekend in Valencia. Valencia, never an exciting race. It's very much like Abu Dhabi, which I do love when people are like, yeah, the next race is Vegas, and this happens at Vegas, and it's a night race, and then we go to LaSalle, and this happens, and then Abu Dhabi happens. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing.
Except for that time George almost won there, but other than that.
That's right.
I mean, expect that time that Lewis didn't get his championship. I mean,
No, we don't talk about ED21 in this house.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, not usually the most exciting race. So Valencia is the same way, Although the race itself did start with Frankie Morbidelli running into Alicia Spargo, which was
Yeah, that was odd.
yeah. So
And you could say, well, he brake checked him, but he was in his pits box.
no, I mean, you think I know nothing about cars. I know even less about bikes when it comes to sort of the mechanics of it. But it's always was Frankie's fault, but I guess not quite as crazy of an idea as it is. But yeah, he busted his hand. He can't do testing on Tuesday, so that was not great. It was just like, what's going on here? It was not quite as crazy as Austin when all of a sudden they just like go running and you're like, what's happening? Why is everybody running?
Right.
But still very unexpected. And of all people, so Frankie Morbidelli and Alicia Spargo do not get along. So when Alicia just like, right, it was great. Like of all the people you could have run into, that's who you ran into.
That wasn't
right?
right.
Your mortal enemy, and that
Right.
that was great. So there was that, but it did end with Marco Bezzecchi proposing to his bike, which I thought was a lovely post-race.
It's nice.
So I like that, because the celebrations have gotten a little out of hand, right? And so I just think that Bez, between the wooden leg and now the bike proposal, I just think these are just genuinely Bez just being Bez, and I enjoy that. But the story is he told the team owner that he was going to take team principal that, if he wins 3 races for Aprilia, that he should get to take the 3rd bike. It's his. And so he did. And so then he's like, but I had to ask the bike. Like, so it was cute, right? Like he stops the bike, he gets down, he has a little ring he proposed to. It was very nice, right? So good on them. And then I mentioned this before, but I always think it's funny that MotoGP does their prize giving gala literally like 2 hours after the end of the race.
Right.
Like
it's the last race. Okay, here's your trophy. All right, get the hell out of here. We're done.
Go change, right? Like, hurry up, take a shower, change into your tux because we got things to do, right? They do it like at the side of the track.
It's so efficient,
It's like, we're not coming back in 3 months to another country.
Yeah,
we're
not
just going to do it right over there. And
I appreciate that because when the season's over, they want it done.
No,
they don't have to come back for an award show. They're done. They're on holiday.
I hate you people. I've had enough. I want to go home, right? Especially this season's been pretty long. So it was nice. But yeah, it was so cute that all the Marquezes were there and, his parents were there. And so it was very heartwarming. So good on MotoGP. I'm looking forward to next season. I did, however, have some F1 related news that I thought I would share with the people. We're almost at the end of this podcast, I think. So
we are.
All right. So when you're done with the show, and if you're driving, please stop driving. But if you have not gone to Lando Norris's website lately, I might recommend you do that. It's pretty crazy. Now, I get it. I'm old. I remember GeoCities. Like, this used to just be text-based web searching, right? And that you went to a website for information. This is now like, you're not there for information, right? This is there to for branding, right? This is there to get behind Lando Norris, not like, what race are we at this week? Which to me is the only use for a website, right? Like,
right.
So I was just like, why do you need all this? I get it, right? And Charles Leclerc has a similar style, but it's kind of crazy. There's moments that I think, I'm old. I remember when, you had bag phones that plugged into a cigarette lighter. Cars don't even have cigarette lighters anymore.
Right.
But the things you can do now with a website. But it's pretty cool. So if you guys have some downtime after you finish this podcast, go take a look at Lando Norris's website. That is the website of World Drivers Champion right there.
There you go.
You're getting the hang of this, Lando.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. I thought, and again, Charles Leclerc's is very, very cool too. So you'll be fans. If you weren't fans, you will be fans.
Perfect. You want to hear some no shit headlines real quick?
I do always. I love them.
All right. First one up. Oscar Piastri gets McLaren exit verdict after wild Ferrari rumors emerged. Ooh.
He's going to go to Ferrari? That's the story?
Wild Ferrari rumors emerge. John Elkann not happy with Lewis. Ain't happening with Lewis. Chuck Lewis, bring in the Oscar.
So here's what I don't understand. Why? Formula One is different because you don't have as many seats. But you can want to go to Ferrari because you're poster on their wall. That's not the same Ferrari. That's like people are like, oh, I want to go to the Lakers because I grew up watching the Lakers. No, you grew up watching Magic Johnson's Lakers. That's not who the Lakers are today, right? Like,
see this picture behind me.
Right. These are different organizations.
That's a different Ferrari.
Correct. I have a different McLaren. It's glary. It's Senna. But anyway, right? Like, so these are very different teams.
Yes.
Than when you got there. So why anybody says, I just can't wait to go to Ferrari? Really? Did you not watch last season and the season before that and the season before that? But sure, have a good time, Oscar. Ferrari Elkann makes Flavio Briatore's statements look rational. That's a pretty impressive. That's a pretty high bar there.
I'll draw a similar parallel since you're a lifelong McLaren fan. I'm a lifelong Ferrari fan. What's going on now and what has been happening is similar to McLaren, and I'll tell you how.
Okay.
Because McLaren took years to recover from Spygate.
Absolutely.
They were never the same. And it wasn't, I'm sorry, they never recovered until Zach got there. They got Ron Dennis out, Zach got there, and they finally recovered from that.
They had a new team principal like every 2 months.
Yep. It took them that long, folks, to recover from that big shakeup and management and boardroom battle. Well, Ferrari has never been the same since ousting Schumacher and Luca Di Montezemolo and Todt and all that, and Ross Brawn. They've never been the same since then. Yeah. And it's taking forever to rebuild that. So
but it's
it happens.
It's not John Elkann's problem. It's not his fault.
Yeah, right. So there you go. My final one. I love this one. Burger chain issue policy for Oscar Piastri curse as F1 star loses championship lead after they launched a promotion. So there's an Australian burger chain called Grilled.
Okay.
And they offered a free bonus burger every time he had a podium, and it's become a curse because ever since running that promotion, he's not had a podium.
Do they have a Jack Miller burger? Because I'd like to blame that curse. I mean, Jack
Miller,
Valencia, right?
What did you guys do? Run a promotion for Jack Miller?
Now we know the source. Get on the horn with Jack. This is the problem.
That's the problem. Quick, Jack, call Grilled and get that promotion.
Get the Jack Miller burger off their menu.
Wow.
That's great.
Isn't that funny?
This rates right up there with the Stoffel Van Dorn McDonald's, right? Like I love
I've been to.
I love a nice fast food connection there.
I know. Just for newer viewers, I used to work for a Belgian company, and I'd go over to Belgium and in Kortrijk, and there's a McDonald's there, and that's where Stoffel Van Dorn was at, and I'm there, and I went in to the McDonald's while I was there because I wanted to see what a European McDonald's, what the difference was in American McDonald's, right? So I went into the McDonald's and couldn't order a quarter pounder because I didn't know what a quarter pound is. It was a royal burger, I think is what they call it. But anyway, it was all decked out in Stoffel Van Dorn racing photos and all this. It is like Stoffel Van Dorn's McDonald's. It was awesome.
I think they need, there's always like the sad Keanu Reeves meme of him just like sitting on a bench.
Yeah.
They need that same, but Stoffel Van Dorn in his McDonald's.
In his McDonald's sitting there, yeah. It'd be perfect. I love it. All right. Well, that does it for this podcast. This is what we think about the news and the top news of the stories of this past week. But let us know what you think about the top news and stories of this past week. You can do that by going to our website, theparkferme.com. Share your opinion. Also, if you like the podcast, give us a nice review and share it with friends and share it on socials and get it out there. We'd appreciate that. There was a thing. There was a woman who sent me a message, Grace, and she had listened. She was listening to a lot of the podcasts that women are doing on F1. Okay. And she says, she was like, "Oh, I wasn't aware that you had that Grace was podcasting." And I said, "Well, she's been doing this since 2005." They're like, what?
Yeah.
He was like, wow, no way. I said, yeah.
You're creating content before content creation was a thing.
Yes,
That's
yeah, you were. So anyway, share it.
Cool.
Get the word
very
out
good.
there. A huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. We could not and would not do this podcast without you. And this next week coming up, folks, don't miss the Las Vegas Grand Prix. If you live in Las Vegas, you can get a Thursday night ticket for $50. So don't
How much
miss
is
it.
that ticket again?
It's $50.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't
How about
aware
that?
from listening to this podcast.
Yeah, I know.
The tickets
Could you
were-
tell?
I wasn't sure.
Hey, Vegas, I'm trying to sell you tickets, all right? Trying to get rid of your tickets for you. $50 Thursday night.
Nobody's going to Vegas. Nobody's
You
going
go to Vegas, $50, you're there. All right? Still, do you remember in the beginning, this is going to make people that are casuals and new to the sport grimace, but, when it first happened, the first race in Vegas and second race, you could go and get a GA ticket for the weekend for $100. And you could set at turn 7, 8, 9 on the grassy knoll there and have the best seats in the house.
When it was in Caesar Palace's parking lot, the first time?
No, in Austin.
I know.
Yeah, Caesar Palace. I know. Yeah.
It was
Exactly.
The first time.
All right. Well, next week we'll come back. I'll see if I can't hunt. Paul, he's on holiday. No, he's really not. He's been down doing testing.
Yeah. He's a busy man.
He is a busy man. But I'll try to find him. We could review the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and then we'll be back. Grace, will we have a break, though? You'll be back, right? In 2 weeks, right?
Is that right? I don't know.
Is that right?
I just
When
know
is
it's not
Vegas?
next week. Next week. This weekend.
This weekend. Yeah, that's Vegas.
Oh, people love when we do calendaring live on the show.
Don't they? They love it. Yeah, so, you'll be
Yeah, and then
right.
we have a week off. Oh, no, it's all in a row. Vegas, Qatar, and then Abu Dhabi. Your 3 races in a row. Then it's off
There
season.
you go. Yay. Wee.
Good luck, everybody.
Okay.
I hope you really like listening to these two.
Is it 3 in a row?
That's what my calendar says.
Really? My calendar. Well, that's why I was stymied here. All right. Well, I'll figure it out,
I
folks.
don't know.
All right.
I'll go to Lando Norris's website and see if I can figure out what the
See if
schedule
we can
is.
find out. Right. All right. Well, until next weekend, when we come back to do it all over again, this is Todd, a.k.a. Negative Camber, saying so long, Grace.
See you in a couple weeks.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.